Thomas wasn't there. We don't know what that's about, but he missed a great opportunity. Jesus appeared to the other 10. He gave them a peace be with you. He breathed on them, showed them his hands and side, and then said, "Go out and be witnesses." Thomas was absent from his family, was absent from the church. He came back a week later, and he said, "I do not believe what you tell me." That's the second bad thing. Where was he? And then when he arrived, he still didn't believe. Wouldn't trust his own family. Jesus decided to make an unscheduled visit to Thomas personally, showed him in a stunning way about divine mercy, and told him, "Thomas, do not be unbelieving, but believe. Put your hand into my nail marks." Yes, indeed, Thomas was stunned, and he gave the proclamation of all proclamations, "My Lord and my God." "My Lord, you are the Lord of my life. I rely on you." And then he called him not only Kyrios, but Theos, my God, the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Many of you, when you come to communion, will repeat those words, "My Lord and my God." As well we should in our heart, along with the Amen. Divine mercy is that way. It is unrelenting. It is never ending. Goes after us in our doubts. Goes after us when our human condition wants more. Our families are like that. If we are disconnected from our domestic church, our own families, doubts creep in, and we no longer believe. So we need to stay connected to not only this assembly, for fear that we're going to miss something, and even if we tell you, you wouldn't believe. The same with our families. We need to stay connected to our families. At times, perhaps, each one of us is like Thomas. We are absent, either physically, spiritually, or emotionally. No good can come of that. And so it is today that we're celebrating our families, our domestic church. And how did that all begin? It all began with a man and a woman who decided they loved each other so much that they wanted to set up a household. Set up a household, and for Christians that means join with Christ so that Christ is on not only my individual journey, but on my journey as a couple and eventually as a family. It's really pretty simple how it works. Have you ever tried to form a braid out of 2 strands? It doesn't work. You've got to have 3 strands. 3 strands that are interlocked together. I like to define this little braid as the white strand is the wife, the champagne strand is the husband, and the red strand, of course, is Jesus Christ. Interesting what happens to a braid. The 3 strands side by side have a certain strength, but if you interlock them, it doubles the strength, the tensile strength of this braid, this rope. That's what Jesus Christ makes happen for this couple. You, that couple. And then from your domestic church becomes icons of your love. The love which says, I'm here to win salvation for you, my beloved. And when the children come along, they are like a written icon, written by the hand of God, and we extend that to our children. That's why we want to celebrate today your marriage vows. But we've got to keep that braid well formed. Something happens to a braid if it gets twisted. When it gets twisted, it loses that tensile strength that it had as a braid. How many twisted knots have we formed sometimes in our family? And that's why we call upon divine mercy, the unrelenting, never-ending divine mercy of Jesus Christ, which is that third strand that makes the domestic church all that it can be. Today we're going to celebrate all of those vows that are represented here. There are also vows that are represented here by perhaps a widow and a widower, and perhaps even one spouse is here alone because the other was unable to be here. But we want to renew the vows of all the couples here. Renew the vows because that's the infrastructure for the domestic church, to win salvation for each other and to stay faithful in that resolve. So I now ask all of the couples here present to please stand as we renew your vows.